everybody, to all of my subscribers, welcome back. And to my newbies, thank you guys. I hope you love my channel. I just kind of got back from a workout. I've been swimming. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update on how things are going with my channel, with my business. And so there's a lot. There's a lot happening, and it's all happening very quickly. So I know I've talked a lot before in my previous video about how what fulfillment by Amazon is, but just to touch up on it just quickly, fulfillment by Amazon is where it's a storefront that takes care of a majority of what would be a huge cost and headache away from you. So you have your products that you can ship to the Amazon warehouse, and then they take care of that and they watch that for you. They handle your customer service, and then they handle all of the payments and your inventory. So what I've chosen to do was I've chosen to find a manufacturer in China, which was recommended because this is something that I do not put inside of my body. Which meets the FDA standards. So because it's just clothing and other things, I can find a manufacturer and then like ship it to the Amazon warehouse. So where am I at? It's been a couple months. What's the process like? It's been pretty interesting. So you all know I've also started a book, and I finished the book most recently. And while I'd been considering just doing everything on my own, like through Amazon, I'm really tired. It was like very exhausting for me to just write already. And now I'm starting my own business, and it's a lot of upfront money. So I am bootstrapping. So what's happening now is, along with everything else that I'm also doing, I am doing my own private label. So for where I am now is I just ordered my first inventory from China after I received my first sample. So first I did extensive research. I was researching for about 4 months. I used I used Jungle Scout to check for products to see what would sell. The model that I was instructed by my e-course is to find something that is in the top 100 products. So there are two different models. One says just use something that nobody even thinks to use. The first is like maybe just find something completely random and then be able to monetize off of that. For example, and I don't want to mean random, but things that most people would not think to go online unless it's super niche. And for this, it is like jungle sticks. If you go online and look this up, the makers of Jungle Scout did a case study to see if they could make $1 million using something that was not very popular. So the name Jungle Scout is where they use an API, which is where they scrape the page of Amazon to get as much information on who. So we're all ethically spying on competition, and so we know when you invest all of your money in something that you're going to get a high return. That's called an ROI, return over investment. So this is like very crucial to your business. You don't want to just think this is going to be the next big sale and then you end up blowing a lot of money. And particularly where I come from, like I was homeless. Like I came to Seattle with $130 in my pocket. So it's not something that the energy of money was flowing to me, but not as quickly as I wanted it to. So I wanted to find another way to do that. So I found Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout is great. It's an incredible tool. When you think you have a product, go online, junglescout.com/estimator, or I think it's calculator. I'll just double check. And then you can just input all of that stuff into the search, and it will tell you what's going on, who's doing the sales, how great things are going on that end. So that's really important, at least for anybody who's looking to get a lot of money. So I use that to find out the products that I'm using now to move forward. So after months of just like searching, I gave in and I bought a program that would help me. This program is it is an e-course. It's a learning course, so I can make sure I'm avoiding a lot of the pitfalls. And I've also mentored another woman. Her name is Lolita. She's from Philippines. She lives in an island called Bremerton in Seattle. So when I go over there, we go and work on our business. And it helps for me to be just a couple steps ahead of where she's at. But I can also catch myself in whatever like faults or flukes that I've made. So that's been like just amazing. And so I just searched online for a long time to just see what products would work. And then I caved in and I bought a course, which they just increased their prices, but I got to try mine for free for 30 days. And it was so good that I didn't mind spending the little bit of money that I had. I didn't mind investing that because it's going to be ultimately just a higher return for me. And this was helped me with the nuances and the little tiny, the minutia and the logistics, such as how to um, eliminate certain products. Maybe it has too high of customer reviews. Maybe it has a patent. Maybe there's only one of that type of that brand. So you want to be careful with that. And maybe it's outside of the price bracket. So where I had the Jungle Scout mentors who were saying, hey, you can find something very off of the books, something like the menu covers that are laminate covers. Only you could make millions of dollars doing that too. You can make millions of dollars selling the cardboards outside that businesses use to tell people that they're open. But the model that I used is what people go online for. We This business model understands that there's the world's largest store, Amazon.com. People go online and buy that, and this business model used what is in the top 100. So I go online to amazon.com/bestsellers, and then I find a niche. And I picked a specific niche that was very close to my brand. But I didn't know what my brand was. Like, what the heck? How am I going to know how to even start that? Like, how does that even work? So I also knew that I was writing this book, and the book is one stream of income, and then the brand is another. Like the products that I'm using and monetizing off of will be the other form of income in which I'm. Oh, let's pause for a second. Okay, there we go. And so the the book was another form of income for me. And so yes, I believe in passive and residual income. So I've written a book. Done. And so now I want to do something else. I want to find something that everybody buys that is kind of in line with what I was talking about in the book. How can I monetize on that? What kinds of products should I pick? So that was a 4 month process. Well, I don't want to say 4 months. Maybe it was about 2.5, 3 months. Um, but it was a lot of work, and what I did was I found what was in the top 100 niche. On the left hand side, when you go to amazon.com/bestsellers, you look at what would be a niche that you was is good for you. What was recommended to me is to not use any sort of electronics, not to use anything that's extremely large. In this business model, we use again only what's in the top 100. You find a niche and then a sub niche. Now, after doing so much research, what did I find out? A niche is you supplying. It's not a need. It's My neighbors are having a party. So, welcome to the University of Washington. It's going to be a bit loud. Um, so, that's how one finds the project. Oh, excuse me. So that's how you're able to find a good product that's gonna like go alongside with what you're looking for, right? You find a sub niche that you provide some sort of relief for what people are seeking. And so, what I am all about is helping support the diamond in the rough, helping people find their truest self in ways that I was able to do that, and to show up and honor and respect the best part of themselves. To show up and remind yourself that you are a part of something larger, and just honoring that truth and showing up every single day. So I found products that I was able to do that. Then I went online to Alibaba.com after I found some, and I went to the estimator and I said, okay, this is pretty good. These meet the criteria. It's in the top 100. They sell a lot. The business model is that it needs to be between $25 to $65. So that way, I mean, because you can always buy stuff from Alibaba and then ship it to Amazon. But if you're only selling it for $2.99, you're not really getting much back. So I looked at a few things. Some things were like the plastic rings that people have, the wedding band rings, the silicone ones, but they're only selling them for like $2, $3 on Amazon, and you get several of them. If shipping from China or whatever manufacturer I'm purchasing it from costs $60 for just a pack of like 300, I'm not really getting that much of a profit. So this business model focused on having a very high profit margin, so you are getting your ROIs. Your ROI is much higher because remember, Amazon, the FBA does take a small percentage out. But hey, what is that like compared to what you would have to do? The peace of mind, like some people who run their own business, every time you get a ping, you just got a sale, you have to run upstairs to your apartment or to the room in your office in your house. You have to box everything up, go to the post office, ship it, find the label. Amazon takes care of that. I don't have to buy a square to purchase anything from anyone, and I don't have to pay any processing fees. And if anything goes wrong, I don't have to like talk to the person on the phone because of like God knows whatever is wrong. So I love that I have this freedom. So look, let them take their little percentage out, and then also there's a small piece of what I've invested in the middle. So after purchasing the e-course, I had to learn something called my grit level. Like now this was in the middle of me writing my final chapters of my book and like asking myself what next. And so I found my grit level is pretty high. I can grin and bear it. I can crit it. But I learned about my own personal tendencies, but it wasn't really like anything I didn't know about myself. But it was always a good reminder. And so then I began to set up my own seller central on Amazon. So Amazon.com, you have to go through sellers or sellers.amazon.com. And you have to set up a profile and banking information and everything like that. Now, the beauty about this is you can do this all over the world. And this is one of the things that turned me on so much to Amazon is that people are doing this in so many countries. And there's systems where you can convert your currency. It will provide you with a US bank. So you're able to get US dollars no matter where you are, if you're in Mexico or Singapore or China or West Africa, or anywhere in the world. In Australia, people are still doing it. And not to mention, Amazon also has different markets there too. There's a European Amazon, Mexico, South America. There's so many Amazons that it's just growing so much that this is such a great wave to just hop on. So then it took me a while because I had no money. I had like no income really. And it was just kind of like hand to mouth. And then I came into a little bit of money, and the first thing I wanted to do was purchase a website. I bought my website from my e-course, which was namecheap.com. And then that was okay, but not really because I had no idea what the heck I was doing. Like, you just buy this domain name, and I purchased it. So it has a secure link. It's called an SSL. And then I didn't know anything about something called an ICANN, which is an international number that says that you are registered to this domain. And then you have all kinds of hosting and a domain. Then you have an email along with the website. So, trying to figure that out and putting so much energy and hours into this website, and like only learning very little code was a bit of a, it was hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was like, it was pretty painful, until a couple weeks ago. Then I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna buy another extension. The problem that I had with Namecheap, I love it now, but they don't have a human contact. So anytime you have problems, you just have to have a chat with somebody in a Slavic country. So I was like fighting with myself. Do I go to GoDaddy? Do I just stay? I mean, I just want to talk to a person. Sometimes I would get very upset about that process. Like, how is this happening? So in the meantime of waiting for that, I came into just a little bit more money while I was hustling, working 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs. And I had been communicating with different manufacturers to see different products that I wanted to try. So you all saw the backstrap that I had been wearing almost every day. I just fell in love with it. So much. I love it. Um, and then I hired a guy in Ukraine to do my logo. He was also going to do a banner for me, but it took a while. He was great. And so he created the logo for me, which is now on my website, which is on my products now. And hopefully I can maybe put it on my book. We'll see. I'm also working on monetizing that as well. And then I started having some kinds of issues. Like, I was not, I guess there was one area after the 7 hours of watching this course that like didn't pay the most attention to, which was the minutia, right? Like, this web series, this e-course, had so many Google spreadsheets of prices. And I mean, I went to a school that was kind of for people who think out of their literal brain and not so much the mathematical part. And so I see numbers and I turn into Chris from Family Guy. I just want to like suck my thumb and sit in a corner. So there's all types of calculations that go into this. So how much does the product cost? How much is it to for shipping? How much is it to have the private logo printed on it? And wanting to get a specific amount. So I had that in my previous video. I was talking about how annoyed I was that this woman, that I was talking to, had upped the price, and she forgot that all she had to do was scroll up to read the previous conversation. So I was playing around to see different manufacturers, what can they do. And then we ran into a small issue with the label. So not understanding how big the label had to be after I already hired this guy, I just didn't feel like, I just let him go. So then that was like another like small piece. Then I had the website, and I realized that a lot of you all are asking to like buy my products. A lot of you all are asking how things are going. You're wanting to know when you can get a copy of the book. So with the website that I just previously did, something called a landing page, which I'm just on that part right now. And I want to be able to gather all that information for this part. So I got my first shipment of stuff, and I didn't order too many of them. I just wanted to like inspect it and see how the products would turn out. But I love all of this stuff. I'm not sure if I want to do anything with the labels. Maybe I just get a little booklet or a picture before I ship this to the Amazon warehouse. Because the package is okay, but I just want it to be special, like my brand is. Also, while keeping into consideration my finances. And when this first came in to when I first got the first sample, it did come with a small booklet, but it was all written in Mandarin, so I kind of couldn't understand what it said. So I'm thinking of maybe an instructional booklet or something. And I'm not so sure about, this is the exact same packet that it came to me. And I'm really happy with this because this is my first of many. But I do want to like just get the money out and make sure I'm getting some kind of investment. I want to go live before and see how things turn out before I start purchasing a lot more products. But this is so exciting. I just got my label. Bam! So it's so cute. It's pretty tiny, but it's still cute. I love it. And I'm on my way to ship it to the Amazon warehouse. I'm looking at also getting coupons. And so I have to calm down and slow down because where I think I'm only launching one product on Amazon to the store itself, I have to remember I just wrote a book this year. So that's about to go on Amazon too. So I'm not exactly like your typical Amazon person like who's going to be doing their own brand on Amazon. So, there's that kind of like small bit. Um yeah, so the book is kind of like a bit of a like a pinch because I'm leaving to Thailand. I I've just assessed all of the supplies of my product and everything seems great. I do trust my supplier, so in the future now I'll just ask her to send everything straight from China to the different Amazon warehouses because I've inspected it and this looks great. I think now I just gotta like play around. How do I make it look pretty? And then from there, I know there's other factories that will help do things for you, like not just inspect them, but they'll help put labels on them for you, individual labels on each and every one. So that's like another part. So it takes like the course, if you just watch it straight through, it's only like 10 and a half, maybe 11 hours. But because I'm doing it as it's coming along, there's a lot to do and it happens kind of, it's not slow at all. I mean, it's just been a couple months and like I'm already about to like launch my product. But I do want to make sure I'm doing things as they need to be done. Um, so yeah, that's where things are at. If you guys have any questions about this process, I did my best to kind of answer them. Oh, I did get one private email asking me how I was paying for this. And so, and is it a scam? Well, usually, like, there's at the top of Alibaba, there's like a trade assurance, there's assessed supplier, there's different ways that you can, oops, yeah, there's different ways that you can go to check to make sure that you're not getting scammed. But I used PayPal, and my manufacturer is great. She even wants to talk to me on WhatsApp, and so she's wonderful. I definitely recommend going to as many suppliers as you can. Not as many, but maybe like two or three to see who has the best price for you and to find out what to do. If you can outsource as much of your work as you can, I really do recommend it. Yes, it is important for you to understand how the business works and to do as much of it as you can on your own possible. But when you are able to outsource your work, and that means hire somebody else to do it, you'll have a lot more time to kind of rest and make sure things go a lot like according to plan. So that's where things are now. I will do an update on my book and how that process is going and how I hired, how I found my editor, and I'm not going to tell you every agent that, I mean, I'm transparent, but I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm not, you just have to respect that. And then I will tell you how I'm traveling. It's not really about having a ton of money. You guys know the last time I traveled, it was like with $200 and I lasted over 10 months. And I found a way to make it work. So just like I found a way to make this business work, everything's going to work out. So yes, thank you so much. I hope I have answered a majority of your questions. If you have more, please feel free to comment below. And if you're also selling on Amazon, where are you in your steps? How long did it take you? How excited were you when you got your first product? How did you like your logos? What kinds of things would you recommend to people that are looking to sell? Okay, guys, happy Sunday. Take care.